I think this is the first religious-esque film that I've reviewed on my channel. So that's a accomplishment, I guess. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my apartment. Now today we're going to be talking about the film Risen. This is, yet again, another story about Jesus rising from the dead after being crucified on the cross. If you grew up like I did, you heard the story a million times growing up, and it's one that you just kind of know. The difference with this film, though, is that it takes place through the eyes of a non-believer. You see it through the eyes of a Roman soldier. Joseph Fiennes, he is a soldier who is the tribune of the Roman army. I don't know what that title signifies. He's like the right-hand man to the general or something. But he's in charge of a lot of soldiers. Once the body of Jesus goes missing, he is tasked with trying to find him before the emperor finds out, and we have our movie. Now, I will say this right off the bat. I'm not a religious person. I grew up amongst Christianity and everything, but as of this point, I'm not very religious whatsoever. So I generally avoid the religious films because they just don't appeal to me. I'm not the key audience whatsoever, and I don't feel like hating on something which a lot of people actually enjoy watching. So it's just not my thing. This film, however, gave me the impression that it was a different type of film. It didn't seem to be trying to force religion down my throat with the film, and that is why I found myself really interested, because it takes this new perspective. We have this non-believer seeing the events play out of Jesus' resurrection, and I found it quite interesting. And the movie is actually quite good, I thought. And part of that is because we have this whole new perspective on the character. We have Claudius. He is the most pessimistic person, and it makes sense with the time period because you have Rome, this huge empire, and you have at the time these Jews who are just like, hey, they're dumb, they think that there's a Messiah coming, and oh, we gotta get rid of them because they're just gonna cause trouble, right? And they, as far as they are aware at this time, there's nothing significant about this event taking place, and so he has no reason to believe anything which is happening throughout the course of this film. And he has to interview these people eventually, and he just takes what they're saying so sarcastically. It's just, he doesn't believe anything that they're saying, and I really enjoyed it because it made realistic sense. He wasn't just getting engrossed with every tale. He was taking a realistic perspective on everything that he was being told, and I really liked seeing that because it made sense for the character and his eventual progression throughout this film. It made it seem very realistic because he went a route which made sense based on what he is seeing throughout the film, based on his character and his history, because he is very tied in his general Roman traditions. He worships the Roman gods. They mention Mars and Minerva a few times throughout the movie. And there's even a scene towards the beginning where he puts a coin in a fallen soldier's mouth before they're going to cremate him. And it's so that he can get basically across the river to the underworld. And it's kind of a cool thing to see. These types of things kind of stick out throughout the film. They're true to the times, and they're things which I enjoyed seeing because it added a bit of realism to this film. While it could have been just solely focused on religion, it wasn't, and I really appreciated that. Tom Felton is also in this film. He does a good job. He's kind of Joseph Fiennes' right-hand guy. He's his assistant, and I thought he did a fine job in this film. I enjoyed seeing him. Peter Firth plays Pontius Pilate. He's kind of higher up in the city, and he is the one giving Joseph Fiennes all of the orders. Their interactions are quite interesting because he's, again, very skeptical. He's like, okay, we have this problem. Let's get rid of it before the emperor shows up so we don't have disorder and rebellion and everything like that happening. The film can tend to be a little bit long. It is very well paced for the majority of the film. Just the ending to the film, I won't spoil it or anything, but it does seem to like just drag on a little too much for me. It could have ended a few different places and just kept going. It just seemed to try to hit a bunch of different notes religiously that it didn't really need to, per se, for this film. And it seemed to just kind of be like an audience pleaser more than anything else. And then towards the beginning, there's this big fight scene, and there's no blood. There's people getting stabbed and just dismembered and everything, and there's no blood anywhere at all. And it just seemed very PG-13. It is rated PG-13, but it seemed like there could have been blood happening somewhere. Like, you stab a guy in the head, there's gonna be blood that squirts out at you. That's a fact. That's human anatomy. And so it just kind of, it bugged me seeing that because it seemed very toned down for the audience which was coming to see this film. Even though there are very gruesome scenes throughout this film, you see decayed bodies which have just been laying there decomposing for the last couple days, and it's a very disturbing sight sometimes. Just seeing like what the Roman soldiers did with crucified bodies once they were dead. It's just like, just throw them in a pile, because why not? But guys, I would definitely say that Risen is actually a very good film. I found myself very engrossed in it, surprisingly, for the large majority of the movie. It does have a more religious focus towards the second half of the film, but it's just kind of a given the material that this film is dealing with. It's like, it's going to have this religious impact because, yeah, it's Christianity and the start of it. Seeing Joseph Fiennes' character, his progression throughout the film, it's easily the most interesting part of the movie, and it's what kept me engrossed because there's a cool little twist, pretty much about, I would say, 2/3 of the way through, and I don't know, it kept me very interested for the large portion of this film because his reactions to things and just everything goes on in this film, it seemed very realistic to what any sort of skeptic such as myself would react similarly and according to. Guys, those are my thoughts on Risen. Definitely check it out if you're interested. I highly recommend it. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thought in the comments down below. Did you like the film as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.